Okay. Yeah, no, kicking the can down the road is usually for problems when you avoid them.
Yes,
But I
because we've
think
got so
we
many of
use
them.
it. Yes, we just avoid them. No. Um, but I think what we do is we get so consumed with the self-development
Yeah.
that you try to develop yourself so much that you never actually get to reap the rewards of your self-development. Merely a donkey, Nicholas. Merely a donkey. Cut. That is why emotional regulation is so important, because if you aren't aware of that, you will be at the whim of every short-term desire, whether that be happiness, whether that be sadness. And I think long term, that's why, to bring it back to timescales, sort of being aware that in different aspects of your life, you might have to judge your happiness on different timescales, which may serve you better in the long run.
Wow. Do you listen to Walk and Wall?
No.
Because you just cooked.
Did I? Oh, thank you. I mean, thank God it took me 15 minutes. We had I hope you cut it out, but I had a 15-minute intermission as the monkey banged his cymbals in my head.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's all right. We'll get there.
We will get
But
there.
that was a very good point. And two things. When you become more articulate, I'll be very, very happy to see that become a very, very viral clip. But I'm going to have to do a bit of magical editing there to,
Exactly.
the pauses. But it's fine.
So the more I become articulate, the less work you have to do.
Correct.
But then, so that means if I don't like you, I should never become more articulate.
Or you could just never show up to the podcast. But there's probably better ways to blackmail me.
I think to play with your emotions, I'm going to keep showing up, but keep performing worse. So you've got more work to do.
And then I have an emotional attachment to when you do good. And you'll do good like once every now and then just to piss me off,
Do well,
right?
not do good. Do well, okay?
All right, Mrs. English teacher. And then you like feed me. You drip fed me, yeah? See, another reference.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
eventually you get to the point.
Wait, drip, how was that another reference? I forgot about that.
Remember, we're talking about, I think it was also dopamine. And I said, drip fed.
And then you cooked and then you said drip fed.
Yeah. Got so many callbacks. Brilliant. So,
yeah.
In that case, you keep on just giving me little hits. And you say, yeah, this time you give me something that was really articulate. And the next 5, inarticulate. And then you keep me hooked. Something like that.
Correct.
Am I giving you a better game plan to manipulate me now?
That was my game plan
all
already,
along. Okay,
it's good that you're aware.
It's good. I'm aware. Okay.
Aware of it now.
The other thing that I was going to say is you spoke about kicking the can down the. I don't know what that saying is, but
kicking the can down the road. It's usually for when you're avoiding problems.
That was probably not appropriate.
Gee whiz. Marked it. Just talking about your lack of editing, then you make a.
Oh gosh. Oh.
Okay. Yeah. No. Kicking the can down the road is usually for problems when you avoid them.
Yes.
But I think
because we've got so many of them.
Yes, we just avoid them. No. But I think what we do is we get so consumed with the self-development that you try to develop yourself so much that you never actually get to reap the rewards of your self-development.
Yeah. And so the point that I wanted to add to that is that that's not saying don't kick the can down the road, because it's definitely better than not kicking the can at all. It's definitely a better pursuit. But like we kind of spoke about last week even, was you kind of got to know when to either pivot, call it a day, or actually reap the reward a little bit better. And for us, I genuinely think if we didn't choose football, we probably would have had a much different upbringing. Because for football, being Australian, being in the position that we were, it was always against us. Very, very, very much so. Like the odds are always against us. If we were to do a different sport, profession, and whatnot, and actually put our energy into something else, I reckon that we would be And this isn't to say it would be in a better place, because I think that a lot of the lessons that we've learned are very helpful because we kicked that can so far and we had such high ambition. And I would still say that I'm very much in that place where I have such high ambition. Like even me making, if I am able to make this app even work, crazy.
And I know you hate the word motivation, but that is important because if you aim so high that it almost scares you, or like you don't need motivation, do you? Because imagine if you had the aim of creating the biggest app in the world and then you did not work at all to try and make that happen. We've spoken about it before, the difference between your actual self with the actions you're taking and your ideal self, which is the owner of the biggest app in the world, would cause you so much anxiety that you'd be in such a aversive state. Well, whereas where the motivation or the short spurt of dopamine has no impact on that, because you just work because that's kind of the vision you've set for yourself.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is it's really good to have very high ambitions, but I think along the way, it's important to stay present and reap your rewards sometimes.
Okay, that's actually a good summary point there, because it sounds a little bit discouraging to say, don't have high ambition. Not that you said that, but to say that you can have high ambitions but still never get there. But what you're saying is that take the moment, enjoy the process.
Because the enjoyable part is the process.
Yeah.
Because whether you get to the ambition or not, it's the gold medal theory, isn't it? As soon as you win the gold medal, then there's so many athletes that have had depressive states afterwards, because what's their purpose then? Whereas the actual process along the way, that's the enjoyable part.
Okay,
and
so
we see it with our football careers as well. That's probably what we can relate to.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to ask you is, and I actually don't know if I completely relate to that specifically myself. I'm sure that is probably the rule, but as we often know here, we're quite often the exception to the rule, and that doesn't come from a place of ego. That comes from a place of, oh yeah, we're just
ego.
Messed up.
No,
and I have ego.
That serves your narrative.
Yeah. and but we don't want to say that on live, because I'd be giving away too many clues.
Way too many.
But it. Wait, what was I going to say? I was talking about the delayed part, the depressive systems. Oh yeah. So I wonder if I get to that point, like let's say if I make this app work to a very successful level, let's say if I make a very successful business, I actually wonder what my response to it would be. Because like when I said with football, I didn't get emotionally attached to it. I left it, never touched a football since. Could I have that same kind of approach with something, doing what I actually sought out to do? Because like arguably with football, I did actually achieve what I wanted to do within my football career, which was to play in a professional team, but I didn't get to the heights of it. And that's the same as you as well, Jack. So
yeah,
if we would have actually been able to physically keep going, could we have gotten to the point where we were satisfied?
No, I don't think so. I think we're a little bit different with it, with this sort of aspect. But I know for a fact that I would. It was sort of, it worked in my favor, but also worked against me. I would never be, as soon as I achieved one thing, I was always looking to the next thing, and it almost made me, another word you hate, burnout, because I never had that feeling of progression, because I never stopped and actually acknowledged that, wow, you know what? I'm always trying. I'm so future orientated that the anxiety around I need to get where I'm going, as opposed to look where I am now and focusing here, and sort of like embracing that. That's what I'm trying to say is don't sacrifice your huge ambition for the future, but almost take the second to embrace where you are now, because that is all you've got, really.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, what would my approach have been? Because I'd say it's probably still the same. I actually, I would probably say my approach is similar to where you are explaining now. I wouldn't say that like I was too, because I also still would say that I was never satisfied, but I probably did think that I could get to a state where I was satisfied, yet I still held the belief that I wanted to become the best footballer in the world. So it's like, it's an insatiable goal, yet I did feel a sense of satisfaction where I was. They're two counteracting things.
Okay. Because I think I would have thought the exact same as you just said.
Yeah.
But I had real evidence that I wasn't like that. I would have liked to think I was like that. But then when I made my debut, or when I was at Brentford, you'd think that, you'd be in a pretty good, happy state. But I wasn't.
Mm-hmm. So in the moment you weren't?
No.
Okay, interesting. Because when I think about that as well, I probably was the same, yet I would get moments. And maybe this is where I tie this into like my technique, I do believe, was very, very high level and was probably above the level that I always played at, to where I had like a false sense of I'm better than the players on my team, yet in the games I'm not. So it's like I could always get higher. So yeah, it's a weird kind of level.
Yes.
We don't need to reminisce on our booming football careers too much, because I don't want transfer market to get rid of me playing for MacArthur Bulls, because that's the only sense of ego I still have left. So as soon as it says retire to my transfer market, long day.
The podcast is stopping.
The podcast is stopping. The SCULPTED app is stopping. Everything's stopping. I'm actually just calling it a day. Full stop. That was the one thing I was looking forward to. Yeah.
What were you looking forward to?
Getting on transfer market. As soon as I got onto that.
That's a weird sense of ego.
Yeah, as soon as I got on. Well, it's because it's like, that's the ultimate thing. As soon as you're recognized as a professional footballer, what a day.
Yeah, see, but after that, then what happens? Which is what I'm saying, right?
Cry yourself to bed each night.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, been there, done that. I actually haven't, but for the sense, for comedic timing, right?
The comedic timing, exactly.
Gosh.
Exactly right.
Do you have anything else that you wanted to touch on there?
Yes, I think about emotional reactivity is what I like to think about is 4 risk states which make you more reactive to your emotions.
Okay.
And the acronym for that is HALT, HALT. So if you're hungry,
I would have spelt it
you're
HOLT.
angry. Captain Holt, hey? You wouldn't have watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, would you?
Don't know what the heck that is, but I just nodded.
Oh my goodness me. Please watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You'd find it very funny.
Sounds like a made-up thing, but okay.
I can't believe you've never heard of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yes.
I literally thought you were saying like Goo Goo Gaga.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Am I that poorly articulate?
it literally just sounded like Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, okay.
You've heard of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
It's a movie, right? It's Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Kevin Hart?
No.
Said that with so much confidence as well. Back onto your point.
Yes. HALT, HALT, not HOLT.
Yep.
It's if you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, they're 4 risk states which make you more susceptible to acting by your emotion.
Okay.
And that's what I always try to think about as well, is if I am in one of those states, almost trying to act by your morals or your beliefs as opposed to being a prisoner to your emotions in those times.